Imagine a world where the most powerful empire on Earth was built by a man who started with nothing. No money, no army, not even a home. His father was poisoned. His wife was kidnapped. His own brothers were his rivals. Most people would have broken, but he wasn't most people. I'm Red, and today we're stepping back into a time of total upheaval. We're looking at how an outcast boy named Temujin did the impossible, uniting the most violent tribes on the planet to forge an empire that stretched from the freezing waters of the Sea of Japan to the sun-scorched gates of Europe. This isn't just a story of war, it's a story of a global reboot, a period of history where the world was brought under one sword. Today, we explore the terrifying rise, the golden peace, and the bloody collapse of the Mongol Empire.
To understand the empire, we have to understand the man. Born around 1162, he wasn't born a king. He was born Temujin. Life on the steppe was a constant cycle of raids and revenge. After his father's murder, Temujin's family was cast out. This wasn't just poverty, it was a death sentence. They survived by eating roots and field mice. But these years forged a mind of steel. Temujin realized that the old tribal system, where people were promoted based on who their father was broken. When he began to build his own following, he did something revolutionary: meritocracy. He promoted people based on loyalty and skill, not blood. His best general, Subutai, was the son of a blacksmith. This loyalty was unbreakable. By 1206, at the great assembly known as the Kurultai, the tribes finally bowed. Temujin was gone. Genghis Khan had arrived.
Many people think the Mongols won just because they were barbarians. That is a massive mistake. They won because they were the most organized military machine the world had ever seen. They mastered the strategy of terror. When the Mongols approached a city, they offered a choice: surrender, pay a tax, and be spared, or resist and be erased from history. They would use prisoners as human shields. They would catapult diseased bodies over city walls, an early form of biological warfare. They would even divert entire rivers to wash cities off the map. This wasn't mindless cruelty, it was a psychological weapon. They wanted the next city to surrender before a single arrow was even fired.
While Genghis was the visionary, his dogs of war, his generals, were the executioners. None was more legendary than Subutai the Valiant. In one of the greatest military feats in history, Subutai led a scouting mission that lasted years and covered 5,500 miles. He rode around the Caspian Sea, defeating the armies of Georgia, the nomadic Tumens, and eventually a massive coalition of Russian princes at the Battle of the Kalka River. Subutai's horsemen moved so fast that European chroniclers thought they were a supernatural plague sent from God. They had no idea who these people were or where they came from. They just knew that where the Mongols rode, the grass never grew again.
But what happened after the smoke cleared?
This is the part history books often miss. The Mongols created the Pax Mongolica. Because one empire controlled the entire Silk Road, trade exploded. They created the Yam System, a massive network of post houses. A messenger could travel from the Pacific to the Black Sea in record time. They moved people like chess pieces. If they found a great doctor in Persia, they sent him to China. If they found a great engineer in China, they sent him to Iraq. This was the first true era of globalization. We got lemons in Europe and gunpowder in the Middle East because of the Mongol peace.
The climax of Mongol power came in 1258. Hulagu Khan, Genghis's grandson, marched on Baghdad. It was the jewel of the world, the center of the Islamic Golden Age. The siege was a masterpiece of destruction. Hulagu brought 1,000 squads of Chinese engineers who built massive siege engines on the spot. When the city fell, it wasn't just a military defeat, it was a cultural apocalypse. But here is where the empire finally cracked. Berke Khan, leader of the Golden Horde in the north, had converted to Islam. He was so enraged by the destruction of Baghdad that he declared war on his own cousin, Hulagu. The one sword of Genghis Khan was now turned against itself. The empire was simply too big to hold.
So, what is the legacy of the Mongol storm? It is a complicated one. Estimates suggest that 11% of the world's population died during their conquests, nearly 40 million people. Yet, they also ended the Dark Ages. They connected the East and West in a way that would eventually lead to the Age of Discovery. They were a great fire that burned the old world down so a new, more connected world could grow in its place. Genghis Khan began as a boy with nothing. And today, geneticists believe that 1 in every 200 men on Earth is a direct descendant of his. He didn't just build an empire, he rewrote the DNA of the planet. I'm Red, and this has been the story of the Mongol storm. If you want to see more deep dives into the men and women who changed history, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.